St. Jude.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
Shouldn't everybody in the country be angry with you right now?
No, you've misrepresented this consistently. I became chairman of the committee on January 31st, 2007. Less than 2 months later, I did what the Republicans hadn't been able to do in 12 years.
Yet, O'Reilly was not going to listen. Welcome to Phil's Gang, coast to coast, around the country, off the Wall Street Radio Network. We have a special guest today. We have Congressman Barney Frank, U.S. Congressman, from 1981 to 2013. He was the leading member of the House Banking Committee. Remember, in 2003, he wasn't chairman until January 31, 2007, which O'Reilly wasn't going to listen to. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your book. He has a brand new book. It's Frank, Barney Frank. I love the title, Frank, Barney Frank, and you are Frank. Everybody's talked about that interview, but first I want to talk about the book. In your book, you talked about how you felt you had to defend Clinton. Go into that a little bit.
Well, I very much agreed with much of Bill Clinton's policies. I had some disagreement. I was not a supporter of the international trade agreement that he was pushing, because I think that the operation of the economy, including trade, is a major reason that working class and lower middle class people have seen an erosion of their economic position, and so I think we needed to accompany the trade measures with that. But on the other hand, it was clear to me that what you had was a conservative Republican effort to drive him out of office, not because he had done things that would be considered impeachable by traditional standards, but because they were angry that they lost the election. And in fact, I think that proved one of the things that was clear. Remember, Kenneth Starr was charged with investigating Whitewater, the FBI files, the travel office, etc. In the end, Mr. Starr, after spending millions and millions of dollars and spending years in the investigation, had one thing, that President Clinton had had sex with Monica Lewinsky. On every other charge, Starr reported there was no negative evidence.
If that were to occur today, Congressman, you think the same thing would happen, or are things a little different today?
I think they would tend to be the same. You know, subsequent to that, there was a very popular conservative senator from Louisiana, David Vitter, who was shown to have had relationship with a prostitute. And I think the American people make this distinction. If you behave in your private life in a way that's maybe irresponsible, but you're not physically hurting anybody, you're not stealing any money, you're not coercing anybody to do anything, they may think that was unwise, but they are more interested when they vote in what public policies you're going to be for. And very few people are going to say, you know what, I agree with this person on all the issues, on the environment, on trade, on foreign policy, but I don't like his dating habits, so I'm going to vote against him. I think people just think there's too much at stake on the public sector side of things to do that.
And let's talk a little bit about, I know you're short on time, I want to get into the housing crisis, and especially the interview that you had with O'Reilly, which he wasn't getting. I don't think he understood that you weren't, of course, you became in 2003, that you were the leading member, but it wasn't until January 31st, 2007, you weren't the chairman. But between that time, going back to 1994, 2005, 2007, there were bills introduced. Oxley introduced the bill. You introduced the bill, but he wasn't listening to that. Let me just play a little piece here, and we'll get the audience to catch up.
This is why Americans don't trust the government.
No, this is why your stupidity gets in the way of rational discussion. The fact is, it was in 1994 that we passed a bill to tell the Fed to stop the subprime lending. We tried to get them to do it. The first time we were in power again in 2007, we passed the bill to regulate Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Right. So you were trying to make the point, and he was not about to listen to that. Let's go back to if you go back to the 1994. You had the first bill was the homeowners equity protection bill. You had that, and then after that you had the Oxley bill. Correct.
Correct. Which Mike Oxley recently told a documentary film crew that the first bill that passed to regulate Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac was passed in 2005. And while we were in the minority, he said it wouldn't have passed if I hadn't supported it, because he supported it as a Republican. There was a dispute within the Republican Party. So Mike Oxley is the one who says, yeah, even in the minority, I was trying to get it done. But frankly, what happened was the Republicans had an internal dispute unrelated to me, and that's what killed the bill until we, the Democrats, took power. You know, the best way I can make this point, I'm in Houston now. People in Houston will understand this. Apparently, O'Reilly and others are arguing that I somehow was secretly exercising great influence over Tom DeLay, because he was then the leader of the House, effectively. And I think people who know Tom DeLay understand how unlikely it is that I was a significant influence on his decision-making.
I don't think so.
In fact, I've said, if Tom DeLay, let me make this point, if Tom DeLay had been listening to me throughout his career,
right,
he would not have gone to war with Iraq, we would not have cut taxes, and he would not have gone on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, you know, going back to, let's go back. The only question I've had, and where I was confused, we know that in 2003 is when you became the ranking member. And then, but however, if you go back to 1992, there was that's when the big change was made, and there were severe consequences. That's when yourself, I think it was yourself, a couple others, I don't know if Dada was involved or Maxine Waters, who, but when Fannie and Freddie, all of a sudden they decided, people said, look, they're only buying these quality mortgages and these premium mortgages to sell them to institutions, and it's not right. And we need to put in the affordable housing requirements, which meant you changed the charter, and in that charter it meant that Fannie and Freddie now would drop their lending requirements to those banks that they were buying the mortgages from. Now the banks, now they are buying subprime loans, Alt-A loans, which they never did before. But wasn't that where this thing got screwed up? It
got screwed up further down. But by the way, the bill you're talking about, I was not then a major player in that. The bill was signed by the president at the time in 1992, George H.W. Bush, and it passed the House by something like 350 to 60. It was a bipartisan bill. It did get them more into that. But the two things you mentioned, Steve, really come together, because while we passed that bill, and as I said, I wasn't a major player, 2 years later, thinking about these subprime loans, we passed a bill to stop the bad subprime loans from being made. So you have to take the two together. Yes, we did want Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to make a broader, to buy up and sell a broader degree of loans, but we passed a law so that the worst of those loans wouldn't get made. So that, yes, they would be broadening their reach, but not in a way that was promulgating these bad loans.
Well, okay, you're talking about the 1994 Homeowners Equity Protection Bill.
Right.
Now that was Now that was the one, though. Am I right? That was more about, according to Greenspan, that was more over predatory mortgage lending, right?
Exactly.
That was the
bad loans.
Yeah, but he said it wasn't really had anything to do, very little to do with Fannie and Freddie doing their purchasing of these mortgages, because they had a quota at that point.
No, but here's the deal. Yes, they had a quota. By the way,
Fannie and Freddie had a quota, I mean.
George W. Bush raised the quota in 2004 to be more than 50%, and I objected to that. But here's the deal. Yes, if Greenspan had done what we had asked him to do, told him to do, and stopped the really bad loans, there wouldn't have been any very bad loans for Fannie and Freddie to buy. In other words, yes, it was important, we thought, for Fannie and Freddie not just to buy the loans for rich people, but to get down into middle income and upper lower income, but not with the bad loans. So that's why the two work together.
We'll be right back with Congressman Barney Frank. We'll be right back right after this hard break. More with Barney Frank. Don't miss it. We'll be right back in a moment.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Move over. TD Ameritrade and Scottrade. There's a new leader in the pack of the finest trading platforms in the country. That's right, Phil's Easy Trade platform, designed by professional traders, and is why it's so easy to navigate, so easy to execute, and includes the most important and advanced features that give both professional and novice traders the edge they would expect. So simplistic, so stealth-like to assist you in building your profit center. For information on Phil's Easy Trade platform, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG.
That's right, folks. philsgang.com now offers a stock trading and investing platform. This unique platform is fast and designed for performance with the integration with PTT1 and PTT2 stock charts. It will also be tailored to the way that Phil's Gang teaches you in class. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, this is Phil Grande of philsgang.com. What makes investors around the world successful? They're savvy, they do their homework, they look for the best deal, and they find it at philsgang.com and Interactive Brokers.
Professional investors know that Interactive Brokers provides the edge they need in today's markets. Low commissions and financing rates, along with best price execution and a focus on advanced trading technology and low costs that help maximize returns. At Interactive Brokers, not only do professional investors get direct market access to stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, and funds on over 100 markets in 23 countries from a single IB universal account, they also benefit from a wide array of advanced trading technology. Go to Interactive Brokers and improve your returns today.
PhilGang.com chooses InteractiveBroker.com. Check out Interactive Brokers for more information. Be sure to tell them Phil Grande sent you. That's InteractiveBrokers.com. Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. You know, a lot of people are afraid of the stock market after losing most of their money in the different crashes, but now you don't have to be fearful because we have technology that will tell you when the markets are ready to collapse. That's right, the PT2. I designed it so that we get information in advance of any correction, the smallest correction to the largest correction. Get my PT2. Make sure this time when you are investing that you have safety on your side.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Boy, the news has not been good lately. You know that 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? 24% of Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings? Or how about this one? Adults under the age of 35 currently have savings rates of negative 2%. Wow. We need to set up a game plan. We need to get you back into the financial markets in a very positive way. And we can do that. Just join philsgang.com. We're here to help you. It's only $49.95 a month. That's it. You're going to be investing in yourself. That's what you need. And you got all the Phil's Gang material archived. You got classrooms. You got support. There's nothing like it. So as this market continues to go higher, not because things are good, not because the economy is doing well, because of all this stimulus, you're missing one of the best opportunities to put retirement money away now. Sock it away now. But you got to learn how to do it. Check us out. That's philsgang.com or give us a call 877-600-4264.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
Professional traders and investors know that Interactive Brokers provides the edge they need in today's markets. Low commissions and financing rates, along with best price execution and a focus on advanced trading technology and low costs that help maximize returns. At Interactive Brokers, not only do professional traders and investors get direct market access to stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, and funds on over 100 markets in 23 countries from a single IB universal account. They also benefit from a wide array of advanced trading technology, from extensive options trading tools to sophisticated risk management and much more. Keep a pulse on daily market activity with commentary with IB's Traders Insight, which delivers market analysis from professional traders in the industry directly to your screen. Visit us at interactivebrokers.com to learn more about these offerings. interactivebrokers.com. Interactive Brokers, member SIPC. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by Phil's Easy Trade Platform.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. My special guest is Congressman Barney Frank. His book, Barney Frank. Pick it up. I've been reading it. I like it. It's a great book. But here's, folks, listen, the timeline I'm looking at, especially if you're one of the people that got really hurt in this thing, is this. When the Fannie and Freddie affordable housing requirements started, that's when Fannie and Freddie started to buy some of these bad loans. But then Bush came in 2001. Before him, Clinton in 1993. They started to really ramp it up. Clinton came in, he moved it up to 50% the quota. Bush came in, he moved up to 55%. Both of them were really pushing to take these kind of loans, and they're talking about the inner city and new immigrants and minorities. And Bush was even pushing it harder than Clinton. Now, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Congressman, I think by the time when Clinton and Bush, the consequence really started to show up in 2008, where at that time we had about 19 million of these bad loans on these government agencies, but of the 19 million, about 12 million was tied to Fannie and Freddie, 7 million to the banks. But here's my question. That law right there, even though it ties back to 1994, the Homeowners Equity Protection Bill, where I get confused, because that law or the affordable housing requirement was a quota, and there was, whether it was 94 law or 2005 Oxley or your 2007 when you became chairman, nothing could touch that law because it was mandated. Isn't that true?
Sir.
Okay.
No, Phil, that's not true. First of all, I have to go back. You said in the 92 law, was that me and Maxine Waters and Chris Dodd? I don't mean to criticize you, but it just shows the myth that's going around this. You know what Maxine Waters' role was in 1992? She was a private citizen. She wasn't even elected to Congress until that November. The bill had been passed earlier. Chris Dodd and I were very low down on the totem pole. George H.W. Bush negotiated that bill with Congress. But here's the point. You say the quota was unbreakable. First of all, it was not statutory. It was, the presidents could argue for it. But here's the key point about the 1994 Act and subsequent acts. Yes, there were these quotas that said you should buy up loans. Fannie and Freddie never made a loan. They bought loans at banks.
Right. Correct.
The argument was, okay, you should buy up loans for people in the lower income category. But the importance of the 94 law was we immediately saw that this was going to be a problem. So the 94 law, if Alan Greenspan had implemented it, would have stopped the worst loans from being made. They wouldn't have been there to buy up. And Greenspan, by the way, didn't say, what Greenspan said very explicitly was, I have a quote from this in my book, what he said, and he wrote in 2007 before the crash, so he couldn't cover himself. He said, you know, these loans have a high risk that they won't be repaid, but they're worth the risk, because to have a capitalist society, you have to have supporters of property rights. So we should lend these people money so they will become supporters of property rights. In other words, yes, we did feel that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac should buy loans that banks had made for lower-income people, but only if they were sound loans. So we tried on several occasions, first in 1994, and Greenspan wouldn't do it. Then again, some states tried in 2000, and we tried in 2004 to say to the banks, okay, Fannie and Freddie will buy your loans to low-income people, but only if they're good loans. Don't make loans to people that they can't repay. That was the controversy. And if our efforts had succeeded, the loans, the bad loans that caused the trouble, would never have been made in the first place.
So those loans, what you're saying is that bill, the affordable housing, not bill, but the whole affordable housing requirements, that was targeting, am I correct? That was medium, people that were medium and under medium?
That was shooting for, yeah, remember, as you've acknowledged, and you pointed out, at that point, it wasn't until George W. Bush in 2005 that Fannie and Freddie were told to buy more than half from lower-income people. And we should be clear. We're not saying, nobody I hope was saying a lower-income person should never get a loan.
Right.
What we were saying is don't give them a loan for more house than they can afford. Don't give them a loan that will let them not have to make their payments every month on the principal. That's what we try. We try to, so let's do this. Let's have a situation where if a low-income person is saved and makes a responsible decision, they can get a loan. But let's prohibit those loans that are very unlikely to be repaid. And here was the problem, and it's a change in the bank's methods. 50 years ago, if you got a loan, you got it from the person you were going to repay. And then the banks were able to come up with, and Fannie and Freddie were part of this, securitization. So the banks made the loan, and they then sold the loan, so they wouldn't get hurt if it wasn't repaid. And that was the problem. We had to say to the banks, okay, yeah, you can make the loan, and you don't care if it's repaid or not. But we do, so don't make these loans. And by the way, in the final bill that we passed in 2010, the loans that got us in trouble are now illegal. You cannot make those kind of loans, those predatory loans.
Okay, I want you to listen to these two cuts, because this confused people too, right here. Listen to these two cuts.
The more people, in my judgment, exaggerate a threat of safety and soundness, the more people conjure up the possibility of serious financial losses to the Treasury, which I do not see. I think we see entities that are fundamentally sound financially and withstand some of the disaster scenarios. And even if there were a problem, the federal government doesn't bail them out. But the more pressure there is there, then the less I think we see in terms of affordable housing.
Okay, then in 2010...
My efforts have been to try and get affordable rental housing. I was very much in disagreement with this push into home ownership.
Okay, now, in 2003, Snow, am I correct? He went in and he tried to get wraps around Fannie and Freddie.
We need a strong, world-class regulatory agency to oversee the prudential operations.
Okay, and isn't that what was actually trying to do in his Federal Housing Finance Reform Act, too?
Actually, yes, and actually, we'll tell you, he actually became chairman in 2003.
Right.
But he actually became chairman in 2001. He was chairman in 2003. He did not put a bill forward. Remember, the Republicans were in power, I think, to be honest, and I mentioned Tom DeLay, the Republican leadership didn't want a bill. By the way, it has come out since then that Newt Gingrich, the former Republican speaker, was paid $750,000 from Freddie Mac during that period to lobby against the bill. So when the Bush administration first asked for a bill, Oxley didn't act on it. 2 years later, Oxley said, and it was after Bush went above 50%, Oxley said to me, I was the senior Democrat, we have to do a bill. I said, I agree with you. So it's in 2005 that Oxley did bring out a bill. It passed the House. John Snow, whom you just quoted, then Treasury Secretary, agreed with it. But George Bush and the Republicans in the Senate thought Oxley's bill wasn't tough enough on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And what happened was a dispute among the Republican Party, and I'll give you Mike Oxley's quote when they said to him, how come a bill didn't pass? He said, it's because George Bush gave me the one-finger salute. So what then happened was, frankly, in 2006, Henry Paul...
Congressman, we've got to go into a hard break here. We'll be back. We'll wrap this up with Barney Frank. Great interview. We're trying to straighten this myth out. But Bush, though, he was involved with this quite a bit.
Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Move over. TD Ameritrade and Scottrade. There's a new leader in the pack of the finest trading platforms in the country. That's right, Phil's Easy Trade platform, designed by professional traders, and is why it's so easy to navigate, so easy to execute, and includes the most important and advanced features that give both professional and novice traders the edge they would expect. So simplistic, so stealth-like to assist you in building your profit center. For information on Phil's Easy Trade platform, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG.
That's right, folks. philsgang.com now offers a stock trading and investing platform. This unique platform is fast and designed for performance with the integration with PTT1 and PTT2 stock charts. It will also be tailored to the way that Phil's Gang teaches you in class. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Boy, the news has not been good lately. You know that 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck? 24% of Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings. Or how about this one? Adults under the age of 35 currently have savings rates of negative 2%. Wow. We need to set up a game plan. We need to get you back into the financial markets in a very positive way. And we can do that. Just join philsgang.com. We're here to help you. It's only $49.95 a month. That's it. You're going to be investing in yourself. That's what you need. And you got all the Phil's Gang material archived. You got classrooms. You got support. There's nothing like it. So as this market continues to go higher, not because things are good, not because the economy is doing well, because of all this stimulus, you're missing one of the best opportunities to put retirement money away now. Sock it away now, but you got to learn how to do it. Check us out. That's philsgang.com, or give us a call, 877-600-4264.
Professional traders and investors know that Interactive Brokers provides the edge they need in today's markets. Low commissions and financing rates, along with best price execution and a focus on advanced trading technology and low costs that help maximize returns. At Interactive Brokers, not only do professional traders and investors get direct market access to stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, and funds on over 100 markets in 23 countries from a single IB universal account, they also benefit from a wide array of advanced trading technology, from extensive options trading tools to sophisticated risk management and much more. Keep a pulse on daily market activity with commentary with IB's Traders Insight, which delivers market analysis from professional traders in the industry directly to your screen. Visit us at interactivebrokers.com to learn more about these offerings. interactivebrokers.com. Interactive Brokers, member SIPC.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
I'm here today with philsgang.com's Phil Grande. Phil, do people really get hurt with 401k fees?
Sure, you're seeing it today like no other time because most people don't understand the fees. And when the 401k started out, it was a perfect timing because the stock market was roaring for 2 years. So they didn't care what they were paying for fees. It always looked like they were making money in spite of the fees. It wasn't until the market broke they found out that they were being scammed by fees. It's just a 1% fee. They wipe out 28% of your money.
So you're saying there's a big difference in how much money you end up with at retirement.
Amazing that 85% didn't know what effect these high fees had on their retirement money. For every 1% they pay, 1% takes away 28% of your retirement money. 2%, you lose more than half of all the money you put away for your retirement.
Fees are damaging your future, your retirement. Learn more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Every single one of his medical bills, everything is just all taken care of.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes.
At St. Jude, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti. Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by Phil's Talking Trader Stock Charts.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang, and my special guest is Congressman Barney Frank and his book. You got to pick up his book, Barney Frank. Great book. I just started to read it a couple of days ago when I got it in the mail, and it is a great book. We're trying to piece together what happened so we can learn in the past going forward. And Congressman, just let me clear up one thing where I am confused. By the way, I just looked it up. My producer did. Maxine Waters, and I remember this. She was in Congress in January 3rd, 1991, because I remember Acorn.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, but she was getting pressured, if you remember, by Acorn. At that time, Acorn was really pressuring everybody.
My mistake. I didn't remember because she was a very junior member, so I don't remember her doing
well, she just started. That was her first year. But that's neither here.
Yeah.
That's neither here or there. All right. The other thing is, when you go back and you look at all this mess, the 1994, the 2005 bill, especially the 2007, that's the one that you felt pretty good about because you said, hey, that was the HR 1427, if I'm correct. That was where you said, I did more in 2 months than what the Republicans did in 12 years. But didn't that bill get screwed up because at that point, wasn't Dodd campaigning and he was out?
No, it had nothing to do with.
But it got delayed. It didn't get passed to 2008, correct?
It didn't get passed till 2008, too. But first of all, talking about what I was doing. That's right. It didn't get passed till 2008. because it takes 60 votes in the Senate. But I was talking about my culpability, and the point I'm making, in 2005, as we left off, the Republicans couldn't agree on a bill where they controlled the House, the Senate, the President, and Mike Oxley said George Bush gave him the one-finger salute. The next year, Hank Paulson becomes the Secretary of the Treasury. As he writes in his book, he called me because he figured the Democrats were going to win and said, can we do a bill? And I said yes. And the first thing we did was to do that bill. But we did a second bill that year. And here's the other point I want to keep emphasizing. Until that time, early on, I thought we could do two tracks, the 92 bill and the 94 bill. The 92 bill did say to Fannie and Freddie, do more for lower-income people. It never said quotas. It said the administration could then set the quotas. It didn't set the quotas in the bill. But what many of us then said was, here's the deal. If they're going to be buying up these loans to low-income people, we better make sure that those loans to low-income people are good loans and not predatory. So that's why in 94 we passed the second bill, and until the early part of 2000, I thought, here's what we'll do. Fannie and Freddie should be able to work with lower-income people, but we should have rules that prevent the bad loans so that when they buy lower-income people's loans, they won't be bad ones. Finally, by 2005, that became clear it wasn't working because Greenspan and others wouldn't use their power. And so that's when I decided, working with Oxley in 2005, and then on my own in 2007 as chairman, that we had to do a bill to restrain Fannie and Freddie. Now, you're right. Because of the Senate, it didn't get passed till 2008. But I'm only talking about my responsibility.
Okay.
The first thing I did when I became chairman was to pass that bill in the spring of 2007.
But you got to admit, though, that's a little too late because...
Excuse me, but I wasn't chairman. Yes, it was too late. What am I supposed to do when the Republicans are in power? I understand that. But first of all, I say in 1994, we told Greenspan to change it. By the way, also in 2004, and you can read this in the book from Sheila Bair, who was the Bush appointee to head the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, I tried to work with a Republican from Alabama with some other Democrats to stop the predatory loans, and Tom DeLay ordered Mike Oxley not to pass the bill. So I agree we should have done it earlier, but it wasn't until January of 2007 that I had any control of what the committee did.
But why couldn't the Congress get back to when the bill wasn't I keep calling it the bill, the affordable housing requirements, when everybody looked at it and said, wait a minute, we're going after these people, the lower income people, it's not working. Why would they let it go from 1992?
Because Alan Greenspan, I refer you to the quote from Alan Greenspan in the book. Alan Greenspan in 2007, remember, he was the most powerful economic regulator in America, chairman of the Federal Reserve. And he wrote in a book in 2007, before the crash, so he didn't know enough to cover himself. And there's a quote in there, in my book, from his book, and he says, I know these loans carried a high risk that they wouldn't be repaid, these loans to low-income people. But we should not stop those loans because they make those people supporters of property rights. And Greenspan later, by the way, in a committee hearing in 2008, admitted that he'd been wrong. And he said, I understand. I had a faith that the free market would work, and it didn't work. So that's the answer. The regulators in power under the Bush administration, earlier the Clinton administration, believed that the free market worked and regulation didn't. And we tried. By the way, one other thing. Several states in around 2000, 2001, passed laws to block the predatory loans. And when George Bush became president, he used the federal power that is known as preemption and ruled that the states could not regulate the national banks. So several states had passed laws to block the predatory loans, and they were overruled by the federal government. And it was because there was this belief that the free market would take care of itself and regulation was bad.
But the quote you gave me a moment ago. Here, let me play this clip. This is Como when he was working for Bill Clinton, and a reporter asked him, "Wait a minute, I don't get these loans. Are they going to work?"
But aggressively to take a greater risk on these mortgages, yes. To give families mortgages who they would not have given otherwise, yes.
So during the Clinton years, they even knew then, though, right, that this thing wasn't going to work.
Well, yes, well, there was some people were worried about it. I understand, but I have to go back. In 1994, the Democrats did pass the law and said to Greenspan, all right, here's the deal. We want to take some chance of giving these low-income people loans, but you use your regulatory power to stop the bad ones. And he refused. He said, ideologically, I don't believe in that. That's regulation. I don't believe in regulation. And then as it got worse, by 2000, 2004, some of us were trying to stop it, and we again ran into this Republican thing. By the way, I'll give you how long it lasted. In November of 2007, as chairman in my first year, I did get a bill through my committee that I chaired to stop the subprime loans. And the Wall Street Journal, the high priest of conservatism in America, did an editorial. You can go look that up. November 6, 2007, I remember it. And they attacked me. And they said, why is Frank trying to stop low-income people from getting loans? These are important for minorities. And then they said, and I thought this was incredible, but maybe it'll help you understand their mindset, 80% of these loans are being repaid on time, as if that was a good number. That's a terrible number. But the Wall Street Journal, you want to understand the mindset, go look at the Wall Street Journal editorial 1 year into my chairmanship when they attacked me for trying to stop the loans that were being made to people who wouldn't be able to repay them.
Okay, going back to 2003, when Snow came in front of you and he was trying to do the same thing as Oxley, or not the same thing, but he was trying to get put something together, get an organization to oversee Fannie and Freddie. At that same time, when you blocked that and you had a comment,
no, I didn't block that. Excuse me, that is so wrong. Do you think I blocked Tom DeLay from doing anything he wanted to do? I was a minority member of the committee. How can I block a bill that never came up? I agree that I did not at that point agree that we needed one, but I didn't block it. The Republicans had the presidency, the House, the Senate. The Republicans never brought up a bill because they didn't believe in it. At the time, my position was, and I later realized it was wrong, that we could let the loans to lower-income people go forward in general and block the bad ones. That's why I had worked on the 93 law, et cetera. By 2005, I thought that's not working, and I joined Oxley in trying to pass the bill. But in 2003, it was Oxley and the Republicans who didn't do a bill.
And that in 2003 then answers why when you said, I want to roll the dice a little bit more in this situation towards subsidized housing. So you're still trying in 2003 see if this thing was going to work.
No, I'm glad you give the full quote. And it was probably inaccurate. When I said subsidized housing, by subsidized housing, I was talking, as people in the housing area do, to rental housing. That specific quote, I did want Fannie and Freddie to do more for rental housing. And by the way, they never lost money on the rental housing. They lost money on the home ownership. And that's why you quoted me in 2010. I've always felt we should do rental housing for low-income people more than ownership.
And by the way, the GSEs, when they got bailed out, the $187 billion, we got $40 billion more back. So, but unfortunately, right now they're scraping the money from that account. But we only got 40 seconds here. What I've never understood, 15 seconds, why did Raines never get prosecuted with what he did, where he blew those numbers up, and he had the.
You'd have to ask the George
why
Bush
didn't he get
Justice
prosecuted?
Department. You'd have to ask the George Bush Justice Department. I have to tell you, they didn't confide in me in their decision. George Bush was in power. It was his Justice Department, and I don't know why they didn't.
Unbelievable. Congressman Frank, let's do this again.
Thank you. I've enjoyed this. It was very good. Thank you.
Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Move over. TD Ameritrade and Scottrade. There's a new leader in the pack of the finest trading platforms in the country. That's right, Phil's Easy Trade platform, designed by professional traders, and is why it's so easy to navigate, so easy to execute, and includes the most important and advanced features that give both professional and novice traders the edge they would expect. So simplistic, so stealth-like to assist you in building your profit center. For information on Phil's Easy Trade platform, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG.
That's right, folks. philsgang.com now offers a stock trading and investing platform. This unique platform is fast and designed for performance with the integration with PTT1 and PTT2 stock charts. It will also be tailored to the way that Phil's Gang teaches you in class. For more information, simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
What makes investors around the world successful? They're savvy, they do their homework, they look for the best value, and they find it at Interactive Brokers. Phil's Gang chooses Interactive Brokers, stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, and worldwide from one account. I recommend Interactive Brokers to all my Phil's Gang members. I use it myself. Check them out. Go to philsgang.com and click on the Interactive Brokers graphic, and that's philsgang.com.
I'm here today with philsgang.com's Phil Grande. Phil, do people really get hurt with 401k fees?
Sure, you're seeing it today like no other time because most people don't understand the fees. And when the 401k started out, it was a perfect timing because the stock market was roaring for 2 years. So they didn't care what they were paying for fees. It always looked like they were making money in spite of the fees. It wasn't until the market broke they found out that they were being scammed by fees. It's just a 1% fee. They wipe out 28% of your money.
So you're saying there's a big difference in how much money you end up with at retirement.
Amazing that 85% didn't know what effect these high fees had on their retirement money. For every 1% they pay, 1% takes away 28% of your retirement money. 2%, you lose more than half of all the money you put away for your retirement.
Fees are damaging your future, your retirement. Learn more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
What makes investors around the world successful? They're savvy, they do their homework, they look for the best value, and they find it at Interactive Brokers. Phil's Gang chooses Interactive Brokers, stocks, options, futures, forex, bonds, and worldwide from one account. I recommend Interactive Brokers to all my Phil's Gang members. I use it myself. Check them out. Go to philsgang.com and click on the Interactive Brokers graphic. And that's philsgang.com. Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Boy, the news has not been good lately. You know that 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 24% of Americans have more credit card debt than emergency savings. Or how about this one? Adults under the age of 35 currently have savings rates of negative 2%. Wow. We need to set up a game plan. We need to get you back into the financial markets in a very positive way. And we can do that. Just join philsgang.com. We're here to help you. It's only $49.95 a month. That's it. You're going to be investing in yourself. That's what you need. And you got all the Phil's Gang material archive. You got classrooms. You got support. There's nothing like it. So as this market continues to go higher, not because things are good, not because the economy is doing well, because of all this stimulus, you're missing one of the best opportunities to put retirement money away now. Sock it away now, but you got to learn how to do it. Check us out. That's philsgang.com or give us a call 877-600-4264.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel on YouTube.com.
What the data show is that sometime in the early part of this decade, largely because of international events, meaning essentially the end of the Cold War, we had a dramatic shift from essentially third world socialism to capitalism on the part of a remarkably broad section of the third.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God, my hair hurts with him. Welcome back to Phil's Gang, and there you are, Barney Frank. You know, we didn't have enough time, but he's right about one thing. Rains. Think about this guy. 6 to 9, he overstates earnings. He cooks the books about $9 billion. He gives himself a $90 million compensation. His compensation was supposed to be $20 million. He boosts it up to $90 million by cooking the books. And he's right. At that point, it was the Bush administration, it was in the White House, and it was his Justice Department. The reason, think what they let him do. Bush let him leave. He also, they made it civil, not criminal. And not only that, but we, the taxpayer, paid for all of Franklin Rain's legal costs. Legal costs. Now, why would Bush do that? Because remember what Bush did. Bush was a worse offender than Clinton when it came to the 1992 Fannie and Freddie affordable housing requirements. And that's what I was trying to say to Frank. That's where all the trouble came in. When they tied, they said, okay, Fannie and Freddie, prior to 1992, only bought primo mortgages, real prime stuff from the banks. In 1992, Maxine Waters, which I want to give my producer credit for, he remembered she was in office in 1991, and Frank was wrong, that she was being hounded, and Dodd was being hounded, and Frank was being hounded by Acorn. That they said, look, if Fannie and Freddie doesn't start lowering the requirements on the loans they're going to buy, then we can't have housing in the inner city. So that's why they went into Fannie and Freddie, and at that time, who controlled Congress was the Republicans. Was the Democrats. They controlled both the House and the Senate. And that's when they went in and tweaked the Fannie-Freddie charter, where it says now you can buy crap loans. You can buy Alt-A liar loans. You can buy loans with no down payments. And that's when, at the end of the day, we ended up with 27 million subprime, low-quality mortgages in our U.S. financial system. 70% of those, 19 million, were on the books of the government agencies. Now let's break it down to the Fannie and Freddie agencies. Of the 19 million, we break it down again, 12 million is on the books. That's 62% were being guaranteed or held by Fannie and Freddie. That's from 1992 all the way up to when they, in 2008, September, when they went bust. And my point was, all this other crap, the 1994 bill he talks about, the homeowner equity protection, that was really, Greenspan was right. That was only about predatory mortgage lending. It really didn't have much to do at all with stopping subprime with Fannie and Freddie, because you couldn't, because they were mandated. They were all remember, Fannie and Freddie was already required to buy these loans, and they had a quota. They had to buy 30% of their loans had to be inner city crappy loans, and you couldn't change that. So the bill for 1994, 2005, the Oxley bill, where they tried again this phony trying to have an agency oversee Fannie and Freddie, and then finally the 2007 bill. That was the one Frank takes credit for, where he said, I'm finally in control. This is the first time I could do something to try to stop this. By the time it got signed in 2008, Fannie and Freddie already blew up. So that was worthless. The 2005 Oxley bill was worthless. The 1994 homeowner equity protection bill was worthless, because that was about redlining. That's what that was about, redlining. It was not, hey, stop all the subprime mortgages over there at Freddie and Fannie. Freddie and Fannie was the cause of all of this. But here's the real cause. Clinton and Bush was even worse than Clinton. He went to Atlanta. Right here. Go ahead.
There is a lack of affordable housing in certain neighborhoods. How can you promote home ownership if people can't afford the home? And so what I've done is propose what we call...
All right, so what he proposed, again, was he started this organization where he was going to give builders these special deals and go in these inner cities and start building single-family homes. But the whole problem was Fannie and Freddie were buying all of these. Now, the consequence, as I said, was brutal. And people got wiped out with $4 trillion. Now, whose fault was it? It was both the Republicans and it was both the Democrats. And Frank tries to pull himself aside and say, I had no control until January 31st, 2007, when I became chairman of the House Banking Committee. And the stuff they were doing in 2005 and 1994, okay, that was all show. Remember who in 1992 controlled the House and the Senate? They did. And that was the problem. When they were in control, that's when they went and changed the Fannie and Freddie guidelines of what quality loans they could buy and couldn't buy from the banks. You know, I wanted to go back and start pounding on him on a couple of these, but one thing I've learned about Frank, if you see any of the interviews, if you start attacking him, he filibusters. He just filibusters, and he won't talk to you. I was just trying. I wanted to get a couple of things in. The one that knows he didn't comment on this.
The more people, in my judgment, exaggerate a threat of safety and soundness, the more people conjure up the possibility of serious financial losses to the Treasury, which I do not see. I think we see entities that are fundamentally sound financially and withstand some of the disaster scenarios. And even if there were a problem, the federal government doesn't bail them out. But the more pressure there is there, then the less I think we see in terms of affordable housing.
Now, that's right after he blocked, or not, he didn't block Snow. He's right. He wasn't head of the committee then. He didn't block him. He was a member of the committee, and he voted against Snow. But here's the one he didn't comment on. Right after that, he didn't comment on this.
My efforts have been to try and get affordable rental housing. I was very much in disagreement with this push into home ownership.
But I figured if I kept whacking him on that, I wouldn't be able to get anything else. I wouldn't be able to get anything else out of the guy. But anyways, I thought the interview was interesting with him. We'll see if we can get him back, and because I really like to talk about going forward here, and what's going on, because we've got a real problem. Take a look at the stock market, okay? And let's go to Stock Corner right now. In fact.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel. Go to philsgang.com, click on the video channel graphic, and check out Phil's free videos on the market, economy, and current events.
Okay, here's the problem. Because of the 1992 Freddie Fannie Affordable Housing Requirement change, where they changed the charters for Fannie and Freddie to buy all these bad loans, remember, Fannie and Freddie went broke, and we're holding 12 million of these bad loans, and we still have, by the way, 10 million people are still upside down in their homes. My point is, we have not come out of this recession. Nothing's changed. Think about it. Nothing's changed. When Obama came in, he did not. When Bush left, he left us in a mess because he was part of the housing crisis. He created it. He and Clinton together, they're both equally to blame. We have not come out of this recession. What he should have done is let us go into the recession. But he wouldn't let us do that. He just wouldn't let us do it. That's when he started this crazy housing stuff. But the problem we have now is we have no leader. Obama administration, here we're still in this mess from Fannie and Freddie buying all this crappy mortgages. And we somewhere along the line here, we got to stop this madness. We got to stop, and we got to let us go into a recession. We got to take and clean the balance sheets up of Fannie and the banks and what's the bank? The GSEs and the Freddie. Oh my God, Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve has $4 trillion sitting on their balance sheet of all these bad mortgages and treasuries they bought. And they've got to get rid of those, but they won't because they know the market will fall in half. But they've got to get rid of it, let the market drop. But in the meantime, the market, they're going to keep subsidizing it, and they're going to do QE4, and the market's going to keep going up. We'll see you on the charts. Join my gang.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.